Hello, my possibly 2D friends, Virus here, and if you're familiar with the Vtuber community like I am, you've probably heard the name Fallen Shadow, or better known as Shondo, a Vtuber who has come under fire recently for a pretty harsh accusation towards a certain male creator. Before I say any more, I will warn you that some might find these topics or themes disturbing, and if they disturb you, I encourage you to click off to avoid any discomfort. I also want to clarify that I am not a Shondo viewer, and I will do my best to remain neutral as we go on. So Shondo has accused creator Flocky of being a groomer. In a post made by Flocky, he is seen criticizing Bao, a rather popular VTuber that I've talked about in the past. In this post, he makes claims that Bao is sexist, and I quote, has one of the more intricate and stronger honey traps in place. And a honey trap is, and I quote, a scheme where a person is lured into a compromising or illegal situation, often through a romantic or sexual relationship, to be blackmailed or to extract sensitive information. So this is what Flocky's full post says. I'm convinced this woman has one of the more intricate and stronger honey traps in place. Twice she has done rather horrible things just this year, and twice people without a brain line up to play the shield, doubling down on her sexism, and y'all lap it up like ice cream in July. So it seems Flocky just doesn't like Bao and doesn't really agree with a lot of her views and statements. And that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. You're allowed to think differently than someone else. In Bao's case, especially with the following and influence she has, there are going to be a lot of people who don't agree with what she says and feels. And if you want another example, in my most recent VTuber video talking about Sinder's return to streaming, there were plenty that disagreed with what I said. And that's okay. I didn't delete any comments, nor did I reply. At the end of the day, you're entitled to your own opinion. And in Flocky's case, he doesn't like Bao. And I'm sure there are plenty of others that will agree with it. So how does this involve Shondo, you might ask? Well, in the comments section of this post, she posted the now deleted comment, "Groomer outed alert." And in the blink of an eye, everyone was rushing to call her out. And it prompted Shondo to release an apology post roughly 2 days later. And here's what she said. I recently said something pretty mean on impulse that's being pretty roughly misinterpreted. It's British humor to throw words around, and I've personally seen so much hate on the internet now, especially directed towards myself, and I've become completely and utterly numb to it. It seems I might have forgotten many people who haven't really reached that point yet. I'm always trying to be a better, stronger, and kinder person, and I was wrong to thoughtlessly say something cruel. I agree. That said, if there are robberies in your area, it's not a bad idea to lock your door. If someone starts yelling about how you're oppressing them by telling people to do that, they might have a reason to feel so personally slighted. Don't know why that was so hard for me to say. I think as men and women in the modern era, there's an incredible amount of strain between us, and I have always been an advocate for breaking that wall down. The strife and conflict is pointless and does nothing to perpetuate this stupid cycle of hate. Shondophrenics know I am literally the opposite of a misandrist, and I don't take kindly at all to my thoughts being interpreted that way. TLDR, sorry for drama whoring. I stream a lot, very tired, said the quiet part out loud. I can't tell you to be nice and also be mean myself. And there were many people quick to point out the flaws in this apology, stating there is no joke in accusing someone of being a groomer, and that this apology didn't really feel like an apology. And here's some of the comments from her apology. I try to steer clear of any hostile or malicious comments as this video is already pretty negative. I've got 15 minutes before stream, I've got time to call out some bull. Let me tell you why this apology reads as a nothing burger. She called someone a groomer just because he was criticizing her friend. Someone much smaller than her, hell, someone who was practically a complete stranger. But instead of mentioning him by name, genuinely apologizing, or hell, even doing it privately, she decides to be vague as hell, calling it British humor, it's not, and ignore how hypocritical this comes across. I'm disappointed in you, Shondo. I thought you were better. But perhaps you're just another person who hid behind a mask. And in the end, you somehow made it about you. I don't know who Pirate Software is. I'm guessing he or she made a bad apology. I'm guessing that's the correlation there. This one does come off as a little hostile, but I do agree that Shondo shouldn't have been so vague and she should have been more direct when referring to Flocky and apologizing. Another comment said, Shondo, you're a sweet person, but this is a terrible apology. You know how it is to be on the other end of the accusations, and while your willingness to help a friend, you still should have done better. Another comment said, while saying sorry is good, most of this apology feels like deflection or downplaying. I grew up surrounded by British people, and that type of humor is only thrown around longtime mates, not complete strangers, because it's a good way to get smacked. The rest of this feels iffy. And even Flocky himself responded, holy f***ing non-apology. I know a ton of British people, none of them use groomer outed alert in the context you did in a false accusation as a joke or humor. How about an actual f***ing apology for bringing down your following after my head? And before you comment, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. Shondo has since deleted this entire apology, and I can think of at least 3 reasons why. 1, she saw how much hate she was getting and chose to delete it to prevent more comments and exposure. 2, she realized it wasn't a great apology and deleted it while she makes a better one. And 3, she deleted it to pretend it never happened. And for her sake, I hope it's 2, because last night she posted this. I am having an episode and am at the hospital. I am okay, but not doing well. I asked for my phone to tell you I have to stop the subathon. I am really sorry. I will get better. I don't really know what happened. They said I'm having a catatonic episode. Again, I'm sorry. I haven't had one of these in a long time, so I thought they stopped. They put me on the good stuff, though, so I am okay, even though I hurt, but I am really tired, and they won't let me keep my phone, so I have to go now. And the comments were flooded with get well messages, as they should, especially if this is a very real situation that happened. However, there were a handful that either didn't believe her or were skeptical of the reliability of this post. One commenter wrote, "Strange you had time to delete all of your posts having to do with calling an innocent man a groomer at the same time as this episode. I hope you're not using your health to avoid a real apology. I really hope that's not the case, because that would be rather unfortunate and it would pour salt into the wound." Another commenter said this, "I'm one of the people upset with you over your behavior. I'm praying for your swift recovery and I hope you're doing well and back to 100% soon. We don't hate you, we just don't like what you did. The people who are being disgusting demons about it were never really fans anyways." And I kind of have to agree with most of this, because I don't really hate Shondo either. I'm just not sure I like or agree with what she did, and I do wish her a speedy recovery as well. Another commenter said this, "Some replies are people wishing you well, and others are people who think that you are using this as an excuse to distract your audience from your recent controversy. I wish you the best and hope you get better soon. You said some really stupid stuff, both in your initial post and in your apology for it. What you said was hypocritical because you yourself have been falsely accused of being a predator many times, and people have rightfully come to defend you. So you can't be doing the same thing to others. The stressful nature of other parts of your life is not a feasible excuse. You made a mistake. However, that is something we all make. As for your apology, I understand that you're trying to come up with the right things to say for a crucial moment, which is quite difficult, especially under this kind of stress. Once again, I wish you the best and hope that you learn from your mistakes." And with all that said, here's what I think of the whole situation. I really don't want to pick a side, but it's really not looking good for Shondo. On the surface, it looks like she accused Flocky of being a groomer because he didn't agree with Bao. And that is a very serious accusation. An accusation that she seemed to downplay in her apology while leaving Flocky's name out of it. Which you could interpret that as an attempt to protect Flocky from further backlash, but the part where she referred to her accusation as it's just British humor could be, and was, interpreted as a way of downplaying the situation while trying to defend herself, which, as we've seen from multiple comments now, doesn't exactly hold up, as some say it is British humor, but you only use it with people you're comfortable with or someone you're close to, and others saying it's not British humor at all. Furthermore, she herself has been accused of being a groomer/predator in the past. So if anyone knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of these accusations, it's Shondo. And if that wasn't enough, she deleted her accusation and apology. And some, if not many, might say that makes her apology disingenuous. And while there's no way of knowing if she really did have a catatonic episode or if this just was meant to undermine her controversy, I still wish her a speedy recovery. This video was never meant to be malicious or call Shondo a bad person, but it is a bad situation and I did want to put my thoughts into video form. I tried my best to be an outside perspective and remain neutral, even though that didn't exactly pan out. And what do I think? I don't think there's a right side. Many might disagree with Flocky's views on Bao, and there might be just as many that disagree that this was the wrong approach for Shondo. In fact, most people will probably say this is the wrong approach. And at the end of the day, she made a bad accusation, a very serious one at that, and clearly got overwhelmed by the backlash. And all I hope is that she learns from this experience so something like this doesn't happen again. Yes, she made a flawed apology and shouldn't have labeled it as British humor. And yes, deleting the post didn't make it look any better. But at the end of the day, I just hope she learns from this experience and I hope she can formulate a better apology or at least stay away from the internet long enough for this to just blow over. And I'll be honest, I didn't really want to make this video. I really didn't. But as I saw more and more about it, I wanted to get my thoughts out about it. And now I have. It's a bad situation no matter how you look at it. But what do you think of this situation? Let me know down in the comments. But I will ask that you please don't go harassing anyone, Shondo, Bao, and Flocky included. I don't condone violence or harassment of any kind, but I will say that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And that's the video. If there are any other updates, I will try to cover them as well. And just thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new and hit that bell so you never miss any virus content. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Virus out.